Hi everyone, welcome to the Crash Cinema Episodes podcast. Thank you so much for joining with us. It's been a long break, long break, and yeah, we're good. How have you been? Since I've been away, the world has been upside down. But I mean, what else is new? We're living in planet Earth where people are selfish, are thinking about themselves. They're just doing the most. Um, since I've been away, there've been lots of floods, lots of natural disasters. There's a whole war happening in Sudan. There's a whole war in Yemen. There's aggression from Russia. There's a whole situation with Israel and Gaza. I mean, humans, we have a lot of energy. Can't we just channel this energy into doing good, into building roads, into eradicating poverty, into just goodness? I mean, peace, love, and ice cream. That's it. That's what it should be all about. But hey, what do I know? Today I'm gonna speak about something that's very um new to me. In the sense of, as a mom, obviously you're teaching your children everything from ABCs to, you know, road safety and all these things. However, something interesting happened this week, and I was watching a state funeral for a general from Kenya, and my mom and I'd spoken to my mom about it and everything like that, and then we hung up the phone and everything. Anyway, so I was watching it on the telly, and my daughter came in and she's like, what are they carrying?" And the because it was obviously a military man, the various ranks of the military, both um armed forces, the air force and the navy were carrying the coffin. And she asked me, "What is it they're carrying?" And I was like, "That's a coffin." And she was like, "What's a coffin?" And I was just like, "Wait, this is the first time you're actually seeing death and understanding what death." And ladies and gentlemen, it was really hard to explain what death is. What do you mean when somebody dies? What is to die to a child? What is a coffin? Why do we put people in coffin? In fact, it was such an interesting conversation. And she asked me, "Why do we have to go back to the ground? We didn't come from the ground." According to her, my daughter, we didn't come from the ground. We came from mommy's tummy. So if somebody dies, surely they should go to mommy's tummy, according to her, which obviously was laughable, but also I could understand the logic. Why do we go back to the ground? Why do we have to use coffins? What is it, you know? And later on, obviously, if you follow up on the story, this general, he was the head of the military forces in Kenya. He'd actually put instructions way before he knew when he was going to die that, you know, if he dies, he didn't want a lot of hullabaloo, just to be covered in rags or sheets of cloth and put on the ground. So eventually they did do that, and we never got to see it anyway. The cameras were respectful. They turned away when this process was done. And it was just it was just phenomenal because I had to explain all these things. And it was that point actually it hit me, what is death? And how much we are connected to the earth we walk in. And you know, whether you believe it or not, even those who are not religious in any way, shape, or form, you know, they always, there's a burial rite, there's a process of burying your dead. Uh, whether you're, and I know there's some who don't physically bury them, you cremate and all these other processes. But and it was just, like one of those moments to actually explain to a child that, you won't be here all your life. And she was so sad. She was like, so mommy, one day you'll die, I will die, daddy will die. And it was so sad to have this conversation. But I was glad I did it as well, because I think children have to, in the world we're living in now, unfortunately, anything can happen. And, having that explanation, I'm not sure how much she understood or what she understood, but being able to explain what death is and why we bury and we come from the ground, and because we're Christians, we believe in the creation story, and that we're formed from the earth and all these things, and that's why we go back to it. So it was very, like, let's just say, a 360 moment for me to actually realize that, we have to not only teach our children about living, we have to teach them about dying and what that process is and all that comes with it. Because, one of my friends recently died very tragically, and my daughter also found me quite sad, and she was like, why are you crying? And I had to explain my friend had died. And also she didn't quite get it then, but I think now, obviously, death is happening all around us, but with children, they don't get to see that a lot. And yeah, so my question here today, I guess, is, have you actually thought about death, about your own death? Have you mentally gone through that process? What would it look like for your family? Obviously, you don't know. It's just a lot of speculation of, obviously, of what you've seen, in terms of the pain, the heartache, the missing of family, the gap that is left, the processes that it takes, the all the other things that you have to come together as a community to maybe support, or family, all those things. Have you thought about it too? Are you speaking to your children about it, about death, and what exactly it is and how that would be? Also, are you preparing yourself for that? Because we've talked on this podcast before about life insurance, making sure you are, doing everything that it needs so you'll have cover and all these things. And, funeral covers as well. Getting your house in order. It's not easy, especially now with the cost of living. Like, oh my God. Can we just take a pause and just breathe? Because 2024, everything has skyrocketed. Like, I just don't even know where we're supposed to get money for, because they're taxing us for everything. We're paying for everything and anything. It's just, I don't know. It's they're squeezing us in every single way, and it's very difficult to live on earth right now and seeing how people are responding. That people, we're talking about living below the poverty line. That was already pushed long time ago, with obviously with the COVID situation and the very interesting things that have come out of COVID, because we have to pay for a virus that was introduced to us that caused a lot of damage, loss of life, and loss of livelihood. But somehow we have to be squeezed some more because of this virus, which we didn't cause on ourselves, but apparently we're paying for it because of all the government's surplus things that different companies were given, individuals, and all these things. And I get it, the money has to come back somehow, but you're making the same people suffer. The same people who suffered by losing people are the same ones paying for. It's just doesn't make sense to me. But hey, what has ever made sense on this earth? What has, other than love, and that's the only thing that's actually keeping me going, to the love of my children, to see them grow, to it makes me conquer some of the crazy things that are happening in this world right now. So yeah, back to the topic, death. Yes. Have we really thought about it? Have we, Miles Monroe was one of the most accomplished readers, orators, public speakers, was also a teacher of Christian principles and stuff like that. He was a businessman. He was just an all phenomenal man, and unfortunately died with his wife on a plane crash. Um, but he actually said one thing in one of his teachings. He said he's actually attended his funeral and his wife's funeral. So he's gone through the whole process to see how that would be. And I know that is difficult to take in right now because, you know, especially with everything that's happening. What do you think? It goes to the universe and it creates all that talk, which, yes, there's that, but it's also a reality. It's not like, it's the way we say you're attracting goodness or badness. It's not like you're attracting death, to be honest, because it will happen to you eventually. So it's just about really thinking through the process and what you want to do and how all these things. And I remember, in fact, I was talking to my husband the other day and I said, wherever I'll die, please let me be buried there. Hopefully, the laws of that land agree. Don't be ferrying my body across countries and stuff because I'm gone. And just for the peace of knowing my family doesn't have to go through a lot of financial constraints and stuff. And, and they were like, oh, what about if you want to come see the place you were laid? I was like, you could always put a plaque somewhere, and it can be a memorial place. It doesn't have to be, I have to be in a ground somewhere. And anyway, which created a lot of discussion in my house, as you can imagine. However, have those discussions so that there's no push and pull when your time comes. And I know we don't like talking about this kind of heavy subjects, but it's important. It's important. So yeah, on that note, I hope you have a very good day. And yeah, find a way of having these discussions. If you have to talk to, there are different actually organizations that put things together for helping people talk about difficult discussions like death and what you want to do. So reach out to them. There's definitely I'm gonna look out for more child friendly leaflets or books or wherever, or even videos that I can continue showing my children so they can process and understand what's this all about. So thank you for listening in today. Thank you for your support. Thank you for coming back after a long time, hanging out with me. It's been absolutely wonderful. See you on the next episode of Crescent One.